Shoot Minigun.
He is in the blue trunks. He is currently playing Protoss versus his opponent. Needs to show a little bit more, I think, if he wants to survive against someone as good as Minigun. He is.
Chaos Maker.
All right, TB. Well, I gotta say, after seeing that last game, I may be eating my own words in my prediction. I thought Maker was gonna be able to take this maybe with a 2-1, but I just gotta say that Minigun, he out-controlled him, he out-macroed him, he out-decision-maked him. That's a large, a tall order, really, to kind of get over that many deficits here. So really, I think he has to not fail a drop, or he has to just find a different style of play here. It's not a comfortable position for Maker whatsoever.
No, it's not. And I'm just kind of surprised that he went with the Hellbat opening instead of using Hellbats later down the line. As we saw, you can get really cool, efficient engagements if you use a lot of Hellbats in your composition, because they can eat up a lot of damage, and they also deal with charging Zealots incredibly well. And those upgrades for the Zealots really don't make that much of a difference, because the way that Hellbats do damage, they don't ignore armor, but they do big shots with large amounts of damage, which means that you actually end up with Zealots that aren't anywhere near as durable as they would be against, say, Marines. Yeah? Marines do small bursts of damage, so armor is much more effective against Marines, but against Hellbats, not so much. Second barracks coming down here. This is a really odd play. Usually you don't see a 2-racks approach, especially in the base, from Terran. That's a really odd one. I wonder what we're going to be seeing here. We may see some early Marauder aggression. We could, of course, see Reaper, but it's already been scouted. We're certainly not going to be seeing Marauder because there's a reactor coming down right here as well. So this is an unusual opening, I feel, for Maker.
Yeah, especially since, that was scouted the second it went down.
Exactly,
as Minigun was able to see that. And we've already seen Minigun in the last game. If he knows what's coming his way, he makes really good decisions. So right now he knows that there is a 2-racks here. Keep in mind that a 2-racks can play out very similar to the really old school style of a 3-racks on one base. If you time it out this early, you can get out so many units that's actually kind of ridiculous. But if Protoss has a couple sentries, those units never really get to attack anything whatsoever. So you mentioned that it's weird to see this, and it is exactly that. It is weird.
Crazy
now,
old school.
The tech lab on the way as well. Is it going to be STEM? Usually that's going to be the first upgrade right now, and a first Marauder is on the way. What is his plan here? I feel like
it's combat shield push.
It's
2-racks combat shield pressure. This is ridiculously old school. Like, 2-racks stim makes no sense. You remember back in the beta and at the start of the game, I saw Terran doing like 3-rack stim timing. 3-rack stim timing push on one base, which Protoss had difficulty dealing with for a while. All right, so that's a bit dodgy, but I'm intrigued to see how this works in the new game, because the metagame has completely shifted, so these old builds kind of become new again. Minigun is going to try and defend this with 1 mothership core and 1 gateway. I don't know if that's possible, but I guess we're about to find out, aren't we?
Yeah, he does have the warp gate on the way. Maybe Maker was hoping for such an early expand right now at a Minigun. The timing of this is pretty standard, but you can see Minigun is also in a defensive posture right now. He has the Stalker and the Mothership Core right on the edge, so he can attack those units as they run into that natural. He has 1 sentry good to go. It will soon have enough energy for 2 force fields. Right now, only enough for 1. The double gateway is on the way. Warp gate's done, so you should be able to upgrade that right away. But, this is going to hit at the perfect time, as 2 SCVs are going to be pulled off right now. But I feel like he can, if he warps in 1 more sentry, he's going to be fine. Decides to choose a Stalker here, and he's got to be so careful.
Yeah, he wants... this was a timing, it seems, to specifically try and deny the expansion. And we'll see if he can make that work. There is combat shield in this, and there are Marauders as well. Oh, Minigun almost loses Stalker. This Mothership Core is getting a lot of energy, though. There is only 1 sentry, as he pointed out. He wants to try and deny this. If he can, that would be great, but he's going to lose that SCV before he can put this bunker up. Down goes the Photon Overcharge, and this has failed.
Wow.
Completely.
I cannot
for the moment.
believe he held on to that. I was watching Minigun, and I'm like, oh my god, you're being so risky moving down that ramp, but it was obvious what he was trying to do, because he knew if he holds onto the Nexus, he gets a giant Nexus cannon, because he has enough energy for 1 Photon Overcharge. Now, the real question is, does he have enough to follow it up with? Because he doesn't have enough for that cannon anymore. Photon Overcharge does last a while, But still, gateway units versus Marine Marauder with combat shields, it's still dicey. You have to micro perfectly.
I don't think Maker's going to have enough units here. There's been too many warpins, there's too many sentries now, so even if Maker attempts to do this, maybe he kills off a few sentries and then just leaves. Like, if he kills all 4 of these sentries, then I'd say this push maybe is worth it, because that's a lot of gas, but that's not going to happen. Minigun just completely destroys it, as you can see. Half of that just got cut up, and the rest of this is heavily injured. There are no medevacs to back this up. Minigun's going to keep warping in, and there's going to be enough for a new Nexus cannon very shortly, so... yeah, there's no way this is doing any more damage, I feel. The sentries are still alive. There's a time warp. There's just trapping him in place. The Zealot's getting a nice connection in. Completely and totally crushed, and Minigun is now way ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we saw in the last game, where Maker tried to be aggressive in the early game, and Minigun's just like, all right, well, that was an easy cleanup. And then at this point, expect him to go straight for Colossus Tech, which is actually what he just dropped down right here. The reason Protoss do this, even though it seems like the timing might be weird, is because if you deny your opponent medevacs, then your gateway units are much more effective. If they decide to go for medevacs instead of Vikings, your Colossus are almost unstoppable. So it's kind of a win-win for Protoss. If you hold off those attacks, you deny any future drops, Colossus Tech is the absolute best choice. And you can easily see either a Twilight Council. Actually, you probably will see a Twilight Council on the back of this eventually. And again, it's kind of it's just a multi-step program that Protoss kind of goes through, man. It's like AA, but for killing Terrans, I guess. Because as long as you follow the steps, the path is pretty clear if you hold off that early aggression.
Well, I'll tell you, man, if it comes down to an AA for Protoss killing Terran, then Minigun has just got a stack of those little medallions that you get. There's no question. It's like, I've been killing Terrans for 3 years straight. I haven't fallen off the wagon once. So that's a scary thing indeed. Maker's follow-up push is going to be completely ineffective. There's no way this is going to do anything. There's 2 medevacs on the field. Maybe he's just moving it across, and then he's going to elevate into the main base and try and do some drop damage, because you see where the medevacs are now. There's no way to attack the front. If he did, it's absolute suicide. So I expect to see an elevation play here from Maker. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to do much. If he charges straight at the front, I'll be like, Maker, you are a crazy man, and you will just die horribly. And here he comes, and currently Minigun there now has responded to it. I still think there's enough for Minigun to shut this down, especially if he manages to trap it using sentries. We'll see. Guardian Shield is now up. There aren't all that many units, but there is this Immortal, and it's just sitting there saying, oh yeah, we're just going to murder as much as we can. Colossus comes out just at the right time, and there's the complete cleanup. No real damage done there by Maker's drop whatsoever.
And you know, there's nothing that makes Colossus more happy than a surprise Marine killing party. So just lots of Terran killing going off right when that Colossus shows up. It's like, oh, you shouldn't have gotten to me, this Maker. And it does clean that up. And really, I mean, even down to the fact that he dropped on that ledge instead of just speeding right into the mineral line is what ended up hurting him there, because the army was somehow able to catch a glimpse of it, was in a defensive position. Then the burnout cooldown wasn't available, and he wasn't able to do any damage. So I think the continued drop play is what he needs to do. Maybe if he can keep Minigun inside of his base with these drops, he'll be able to secure a third base, able to try and force this into the late game. But if this drop right here does not do damage, just got spotted by the probe, by the way.
It did. That was a great probe, man. That is a genius. He is credit to team. He still needs to respond quickly to it. He's going to get the Colossus in play. It's a try drop this time around, but it's a try drop for more reasons than one. There's 3 of them, but he's also going to try so hard to get so far, but in the end it won't really matter, because he's going to have to back off. There's no way he can go in there. It's completely unsafe. So Maker still behind right now. He's on 47 workers to 55 probes. And he's not showing any signs of expanding yet. He's continuing to upgrade, but he's way behind. I mean, look at that. He's got +1, but he's up against 1-1, and there's going to be 2-2 out before this +1 armor even finishes.
And I know I've said this already, but this is the phase of the game where Protoss, you just deny drops. I mean, look at the positioning of Minigun's army. Half at the main, half at the natural, and that's what you have to do. Once you throw down a third base, kind of switch some of them out. You have a third at each base, and just keep an eye on where your opponent's going, force it into the late game, get your upgrades, get your Colossus, get all the other tech you want. We could see a switch to High Templar pretty soon, because the Viking production is really starting to kick in here. But I mean, really, it's kind of Minigun's game to mess up at this point, which means that Maker just has to keep picking away and hoping he finds a weakness in the defense. But I mean, Minigun's only on 2 base. There's not a whole lot to defend here. He's trying to set up a third here, but I think he's only going to kill a pylon with this drop, which is not exactly the momentum he needs.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, hey, we got a pylon. Great. Awesome. Doesn't spot the third. Oh, he is actually going to... No, he's not. Never mind. thinking maybe he'd spot that, but Minigun's ready with the interception. Maker with some indecision loses that drop, and this isn't going anywhere either, so he is getting shut down every way possible. Like, this is... he just GG's right there. I mean, it's completely one-sided, let's be honest. Minigun just took him to pieces, and he realized he had no chance. Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic, unfortunately, but Minigun just... Like, he played that game perfectly. There was not a single mistake made there whatsoever, and that's a straight-up 2-0. Minigun just looking absolutely dominant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the graphs here at the end, and I'm seeing, like, workers active was, I think, identical down to the amount of exact workers, which is really good for Terran. But the problem is that army value there, I think it was a bit of a rage quit from Maker, but the graph does not lie. It was a huge plummet in the army value. It's almost impossible to recover from that as Terran. Because, again, you got to remember that the later the game goes on, there's more Colossus, there's more Storms, it starts to favor it. So on top of that, if you're already behind an army supply, I mean, there's just no way. It's not going to happen. And Minigun has shown that his focus is denying the drops. If his focus was being, like, cheeky and trying to be aggressive and timing attacks and all that, maybe Maker staying in the game could have had something happen, but Minigun was completely content, sitting back, denying drops, and collecting the advancement into the winner's battle, which will be coming up.
Yeah. It will. That's going to be up next. It will, of course, be a PvP between Puck and Minigun. That could be a really brutal PvP as far as I am concerned. But Maker looked outclassed there. He really did, which is weird because, like, he's so competitive on the ladder, but he looked completely outclassed. I don't think it was much of a rage quit from Maker. I feel that Maker just knew, like, you have shut me down in every way possible. There is no way in a million years I am going to be able to come back from this. And he's right. Like, he was screwed. I mean, he could have kept fighting, but what answer did he have to the Colossus? What answer did he have to anything there?
Well, and also you got to remember he was going up against a third base, did not have a third base of his own. So there was not a single way he was ahead except in the amount of units he's lost, because that was a lot of dead Terran drops. So gotta say, Minigun looking good, and as I was saying before, if he plays at the peak of his ability, he is definitely one of the best American players out there. And I want to say that going into the next round, I'm going to give a slight favor to Minigun in this way. After seeing that last game and after seeing how easily he's advancing, that makes you just feel great. That makes you feel like you're not making any mistakes and that you're in a good headspace and you're feeling great. He's sitting in that dark little room, man, just cackling away maniacally. And I think he's going to have a favorite here moving forward. But we did see some previous awesome games. So, I don't know. Any thoughts on that, TB?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. The PvP, it could be all over the place. Maker's not out of it yet, and Maker, of course, will be fighting against Vibe for his next match, and then, of course, the winner of that will have to play the loser of Minigun versus Puck. I can't call Minigun versus Puck either way, man. I really, really can't. Considering the great play that Puck showed against Sage yesterday, maybe you give the slight edge to Puck, but that's not a big enough sample size to really judge it.
All right, well, we are going to be finding that out here pretty darn soon.
That we will.
I just want to say thanks, guys, for watching. Are we? What was the peak? Did we reach 25,000?
We're at 31,000 viewers right now and climbing. So thank you very much for your support, folks. This has obviously been a fantastic start to the tournament, aside from the bollocks that happened earlier. But we're all good. We're fine. We are good. Maker is, on the other hand, struggling hard. We don't want to see another 0-4 from him. He got knocked out of Challenger League, out of Premier League pretty quickly. Let's see if he does better against Vibe. But first, it will be another team kill scenario. It's going to be Puck versus Minigun in a brutal PvP, a battle to the finish after this break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into the matchup momentarily. We're just trying to get Puck's camera on at the moment. It's currently, unless Puck is actually, I mean, this could be Puck, you know, Puck could actually be a small spinning circle in a black room. That is a possibility.
Yeah, well, maybe he wants to outdo Minigun's dark room from before, so...
It's a possibility.
That's my only guess. So pretty soon we're just going to have 2 black screens. We finally give... Oh, and it changed to a cute little panda thing, so that's...
Yeah, I think that's a red panda. We'll see if Puck's going to try once more with the webcam. If not, it will be the cute red panda. That's how it's going to be. I don't think we're going to find many people who complain about the cute red panda, really.
Yeah, no, I certainly am not.
And
but,
Puck just disconnected from the call. Let me see if I can get him back in here. Oh, man, fun times. Like, yeah, you know what would be a really good idea, Mike? We'll do these pre-game face-off interviews. It'll be so cool.
And what we're going to do is we're going to rely on Skype, which is so, like, consistently reliable for all tournaments.
Indeed. Forever. Yeah, we currently can't raise Puck on the hails right now. I've tried in all languages on all known frequencies. All right, Puck is now on the call. Can we get Puck cam? No. All right.
Which is hilarious because we had Puck cam earlier.
Yeah, we did, but now we're not getting Puck cam. All right, it's fine, Puck. Don't worry. We'll go with cute red panda, and we will go with cute minigun. So that works out pretty well. Okay, here we go. All right, folks, welcome. So it's been just a short time. Minigun, how are you feeling after that win?
Pretty good. Always nice to 2-0.
Yep, absolutely. That looked pretty dominant for you. It didn't look like you had any problems, really.
Yeah, just was able to scout his cheese before it hit me, which was nice. Not much more to say about them.
What do you think about that 2 racks opening, actually, from Maker? That was a little bit old school, but it didn't really get anywhere.
I don't think it's any good because the Nexus cannon just shuts it down completely for a full 60 seconds, and that gives you enough time for the gateways to turn on and whatnot.
Yeah, certainly.
So I don't particularly like it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's a reasonable assessment. That was kind of what we were thinking as well. It's like, will this really do anything? Like, maybe if the Nexus... Maybe if the Mothership Core was caught out in the center of the map and killed by the Marines, for instance, then it would have done something, but even then, it's... Yeah, he tried to deny the natural layer and it did not work. Alright, Puck, well, after watching that, do you find Minigun any more intimidating than usual?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, Puck.
Okay. No.
Nope.
I mean... Chad's been pretty dominant PvT. Like, last season, I think he finished with above 70% win rate versus Terran. So, not too concerned. But me and Chad go through weird stages where he can beat me nonstop, but then all of a sudden I take over and he can't beat me. And then, I don't know. Most previous, I haven't lost to him in like the past 4 games, but that might change.
Now, Minigun, I had to say, Puck did pretty damn well against your Protoss teammate Sage yesterday. Does that intimidate you in any way going to this match?
A little bit, but PvP can be kind of coin flippy. I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that, but you know there are a lot of build order disadvantages. I didn't actually watch the game, so I don't know how each player opened up, and the opening build contributes quite a bit to how the game plays out. So I'm not sure.
That's very true. I'm intrigued to see where it goes between the 2 of you. So let's get into the game. No doubt you guys are itching to tear massive chunks of flesh from each other. So, Puck, any last words for Minigun before you get into this game?
I don't know. How's it going?
This is the most mana BM I've ever seen, man. Minigun, final words for your opponent before we get into this game?
Just good luck, have fun.
GLHF.
Good luck.
Alright, we're going to be seeing another team kill right here between these 2. Will Puck be able to make his way through and take the straight up 2-0, go through as the winner of this set into the round of 8, which is a great situation to be in, or will we see Minigun be able to show some dominance? And I've got to say, you know, Minigun has been looking pretty good going into this. Husky, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that very question, and so far, if I was a gambling man, I'd be 50% up, 50% down, so breaking even. So I'm gonna make a prediction just to keep the trend going, so everyone can make fun of me. I want to say that it's gonna be Minigun with a 2-0. That's going to be my prediction
Yeah,
there.
Wow,
But,
that's dicey, man. I'll hold you to that. You want to put some
I
money on the
know.
line for that? You want to make things interesting?
Oh God, I'm so bad. You know what? I will. I will
All
bet
right,
you
how much?
I will bet you $5 real that it's going to be 2-0. But you have to guess what it's going to be as well.
All right, I think I can cope with that. Puck's overlay just disappeared for no apparent reason. What the? This is really weird. Like, okay, I'm not actually sure why that happened. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but Puck's overlay disappeared, so... Whoops, I guess. This is so weird. Why would that happen? I had it all set up. Oh, man. I don't know what's going on with this today, but hey, we'll do the best that we can and just continue. It's like, let's do these really cool pre-game loading screens where everything looks awesome, and then immediately they just break completely.
Yeah, you showed me them before the tournament. Everything worked great.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. We tested it, and then, of course, the gods of esports